Sports Life podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Big Al, and of course, my co host for this evening, as always, is Rob.
What's up, guys? Thanks for joining us.
Yes, and this is our third episode in the month of June, which is Men's Mental Health and PTSD Awareness Month. We've had two great episodes with a therapist, Mason Good, and also with Dan Rowe of Andy's Man Club UK, who's also can be seen on season three, episode three of Welcome to Wrexham. So just really great episodes focusing in on that men's mental health aspect. Um, Tonight we are doing a special Father's Day episode where we will be piping. We're still going to focus on the cigar news and what we've smoked. But as both of our fathers were pipe smokers, this is kind of a tribute to both of them and a little trip down memory lane for us.
hmm
Um, so we appreciate everybody stopping by and let's get into the rapper report. So Rob, what's one of your news stories this week?
So I have a couple news stories. Um, Crown Heads is has shipped, and by the time this episode comes out, uh, Crown Heads Broadway will be landing in stores. It already has started landing in stores. Um, Crown Heads has been busy this year, super busy. This is I believe, their first core line cigar to come out this year. A lot of what they've done so far this year has been limited and yearly releases. Um, so the Crown Heads Broadway is their first core line release this year, brand new line. Um, there are a couple new ones coming out as well towards the end of the year, but right now we're dealing with Crown Heads Broadway. It uses a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, which a lot of what John uses is Connecticut broadleaf, either in the binder, filler, or on the wrapper. It is so he uses the Connecticut broadleaf over over Nicaraguan binders and fillers. It has some Omotepe in there. I love the Omotepe. It just gives it
Mhm.
a really nice um, flavor. I just love the nuance it brings. It's made at Noxa, where a lot of his stuff is currently made. Um, it has, Noxa's the same factory that has a really nice relationship with Oliva. Um, and Oliva has, one of the biggest supplies of broadleaf currently on the market. Um, it's going to be offered in three sizes. It's going to have a Robusto Extra, which is a 4 3/4 by 52. The Epicuro, he calls it, which is a 5.5 by 56, and then a Toro, which is a 6.5 by 54. Um, it was debuted at PCA 2025. I got to get a nice look at it before everybody else did. Got to smoke a bunch. I actually smoked a bunch in the beginning of the year. John sent me a few samples. Um, and I didn't know what it was called at the time, but it was fantastic. I couldn't wait. And then he's like, dude, he's like, you've been smoking it already. I was like, oh, okay. So I guess that's what she sent me. But but yeah, so they debuted the pictures, they debuted the new branding at PCA. Um, it was supposed to originally start shipping in late May. It ended up being pushed back to June. And it's called Broadway. So if you don't know, and if you have never been to Nashville, Broadway is the big main drag that runs down the middle of downtown Nashville, and it has all the bars and the restaurants and where all the music happens and all the nightlife happens and all the daytime life happens. It's a really, really hopping area. I mean, I love going to Nashville and going down Broadway and just kind of, walking down Broadway and listening to the live music at night and just all the bars have their windows open. They have big floor to ceiling windows and they all have them all flung open. And there's like six, seven, eight, nine, 10 different bands playing at the same time. Um, And yeah, so it's really fantastic. I love the flavor notes on Broadway. Um, I will tell you right now, it currently is probably going to be in my top three favorite cigars of 2025. So if you have not checked out Crown Heads Broadway, uh, you can get it online. Check your local brick and mortars though, because I am a huge supporter of brick and mortars. So check your
Mhm.
brick and mortars first, then order online. I mean, you're not going to be disappointed. What about you? What's
Most
your what do you got? Or do you have
well,
anything to
first,
add?
first I have to point out this lid that I'm rocking is the Heads Will Roll from Crown Heads, which was a Father's Day gift from my kids. So and we've talked about it before. The hat game is uh, second to none, and I am thankful that you have shared the Broadway with me. Um, I've been a little hesitant to fire it up because I'm afraid that I'm going to love it and then want more. And but now that they're shipping, I should be able to get my hands on those.
Yes.
So for my story, um, it looks like Louisiana. They get a 50-cent cigar tax cap. So um, surprisingly, it may be the cost of some of the cigars there in Louisiana may go down.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
so Jeff Landry, the governor, signed into law HB 325, which basically means that starting next year, most handmade cigars will be cheaper. Uh, the bill establishes a new taxation method for the cigars in Louisiana by introducing a cap. Um, Meaning that no cigar will pay more than 50 cents in state excess tax. So, cigars with an invoice price of 12 cents and less will be taxed at 8%. Cigars with an invoice price at 12 cents to 250 will be taxed at 20%. And cigars with an invoice price of more than 250 will pay the 50-cent tax. But it won't go any higher than that. So that that's I guess score one for the good guys. You know, everything going up and taxes on everything going up. It's nice to know that there's a cap on it that it's not going to hurt near as bad.
Yeah. And it's funny. So there's a funny story about Governor Landry. Governor Landry is a huge supporter of the cigar industry in Louisiana. And at the opening of PCA, so uh, for anybody who hasn't been, so anybody who wasn't at PCA, which is probably most people, they got Governor Landry to come and talk to us the day it opened. Talk about cigars, talk about um, what they have in store for all the cigar smokers, the retailers and the media members and the the producers. And he was a fantastic he's a fantastic guy. I mean, he really does throw his weight behind the cigar industry in Louisiana. So he got up to the stage and he was like, you know what? He came on stage with a cigar lit, which was fantastic. Everybody was cheering, and
That's great.
he's like, "Let me tell you something." He's like, "I am opening all my venues to cigar smokers." He's like, "You can go to the bars and you can smoke a cigar, and if they give you anything, if they give you any gruff about it, you tell them Mr. Landry sent you." And
That's great.
everybody loved it, and it was fantastic because they did have some pretty strict smoking laws, but
Hmm.
uh with PCA being so widespread throughout the community, they did loosen a lot of their smoking laws for that weekend. We were able to smoke inside the convention center. They gave us two really nice constant places to smoke at after the event was over for the day. One was Cuban Creations. There was a sports bar. I forget the name of the sports bar, but there was also a sports bar that would hold events each night from, I believe, 8 to, I believe, 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning. And what they would do is they would have different sponsors show up, and they would give away cigars, and they would get a chance to talk, and it was just a really nice chance to talk with the governor and get his take um, on the cigar industry in Louisiana. And by the way, to add another note on top of that, if you haven't already emailed your um, representative in Congress for where you live, not just where I live, not just where Governor Landry is, but where you live,
Mhm.
our viewers, if you have not already emailed your congressman, senator, representative, district representative, whatever you have, email him and tell him about Governor Landry signing HB, what was it, 325?
Yes.
Tell him, ask your representative why they haven't come up with HB 325 in your own state yet. Because I would love an HB 325 in New Jersey. We have a 30% sale state sin tax, and that's on alcohol and tobacco. So it's to cigarettes, cigars, and alcohol. So I would love to separate premium hand rolled cigars out of this syntax with that they have lumped in with cigarettes.
Yeah.
And so if you haven't done that, please Google your representatives, Google your senator, Google your congressman, and get their email address, reach out to them and ask them why they haven't written a bill or helped sponsor a bill to cap the taxes for premium handmade cigars. Because it's your duty as a cigar smoker to, you know, fight for your rights as a cigar smoker to, keep our prices, uh, you know, semi-affordable. There are some places where
Yeah.
you go, New York is ridiculous, Nevada, California, it's absolutely bonkers. Have some of the highest percentages in, you know, taxation rates for tobacco because it's lumped in. So email your representative, email your congressman, email your senators, ask them, please put together a bill to put on a tax cap for premium hand rolled cigars.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Well, you know, like you said, it's our responsibility to stand up for for our hobby and
Hmm.
the things we enjoy to do, especially when tobacco in general is being attacked from all sides. So, so what's your next story?
So my next story is another shipping story. Um, Cavalier Genève, out of Honduras. Uh, the owner, Sebastian Decope, fantastic guy. Um, their new installment of Project Broadleaf is shipping this week. So earlier I believe late last year, early this year, um, Sebastian revealed that they were working on a new cigar called Project Broadleaf. And what this was a cigar that's going to be made with Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, and it was going to be four different vitolas, and he was going to break it up throughout the year. It was going to be an extremely limited ship, so it's not going to be a very wide release that they normally do with their cigars. And their first one that they shipped in April May was called Project Broadleaf Skywalker, and it was a 6x48 Lonsdale, and it's fantastic. So this month, actually, as we speak, they are now shipping what they're calling the Project Broadleaf Board Tamer. It is the second release in their broadleaf series, and it is a 5 1/4 by 52. I guess you would call that a robusto. Um, it's got a broadleaf wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, and fillers from Honduras and Nicaragua since they're in Honduras. Um,
Yeah.
the MSRP is going to be about $15, and the production is going to be extremely limited to 500 bundles of 10. That's it. So a run of 5,000
Wow.
cigars. Um, it's going to have four different, like I said, it's going to have four different releases, each using a different vitola and internals, but they're all going to have that broadleaf wrapper. I cannot, I talked to Sebastian. I cannot tell you where they sort, Connecticut broadleaf is hard to find, and
Yeah.
there are only a few sources of where you can get broadleaf now currently. Um, I was sworn to secrecy by Sebastian that I cannot reveal where he's getting his broadleaf from currently, um, but it's well worth it have um, if you have had broadleaf before and like it. You're gonna love this broadleaf from Cavalier. Um, the Skywalker, as I said before, how everything's going to be a little different. It had the broadleaf wrapper over MSA, the Mexican San Andreas binder, and fillers from Honduras and Nicaragua. So, um, so this one's a little bit different. You're replacing the Mexican San Andreas with binder from Jalapa, Nicaragua. So a little bit spicier. Um, the details of the final two releases have not been revealed yet, but eventually the four releases will become annual releases. And he said possibly due to restrictions on how much of the product he can get, that the blends may be tweaked a little bit as they roll into a annual release. So if you have not located any Project Broadleaf yet, there are a lot of online retailers that are getting them. So locate the Skywalker. Um, the board tamer is going to be a little different. So the Skywalkers came in cabs of 50, right?
Okay.
And so the people who so it was a little different. So the people who initially signed on to get the first shipments of the Skywalker got cabs of 50, so big boxes of 50, and then the rest are going to be boxes of 10. Um, so I believe there was a hundred cabs. No, I believe there were like 50 cabs of 50, 25 to 50 cabs of 50 for the first initial release of Skywalker. And then the other rest of the cigars are going to be released in boxes of 10. Same thing with the board tamer. The board tamer is going to only come in bundles of 10. So it's like a little foil pack. Like almost like the Umbagog, how the Umbagog comes wrapped in like a package of 10. That's
Mhm.
exactly how the board tamer is. So find the Skywalker, find the board tamer. You are going to not regret it. I promise you that.
Well, I know I've only had a few different Cavalier cigars. I've had the white series, the black series,
Hmm.
um, and there was another one that had a gray um, band on
The
it.
Yeah, that was the B2 Viso Jalapa.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and
fantastic
there,
cigar. It's one of my favorites.
yeah, and I do have a couple of odd jobs in the humidor.
Ugh, I wish I could find more. I have one, literally one cigar.
Well, um,
From the Pravada release. So they
right.
Pravada re-released a 3-year aged version.
Hmm.
I have yet been able to find any of the original release from 3 years ago.
Uh, well, my our good friend Sean over at Smoking Sounds hooked me up with those two. Um, I know you tried. They were all gone when you
Oh
got
yeah,
back.
so I got him at my shop. So my shop is the shop that I work at is an LCA shop. So he gets
Yeah.
the LCA drops every month. And I literally went there. He got them in that day. I grabbed one. I was like, I'll grab another one when I come back next week. They literally had a group of guys meet there later that week. I came back and literally they had all sold out. All 20 sticks were sold out. And I was
Wow.
so upset.
Yeah. Well, my local brick and mortar um, only recently started carrying Cavalier
Okay.
toward the end of last year.
All right.
Uh,
It's good
in
brand.
fact,
It's a great, like I said, Cavalier is a great little boutique brand. They make some really good stuff.
yeah,
Sebastian does an amazing job with his blending.
most definitely, most definitely. Well, and as always, the Rapper Report is brought to you by Valor Cigar Accessories. Um, and I do not happen to have either of my cutters or
Yeah, well, we don't need cutters tonight since we're
yeah,
smoking
we're
pipes, but we
since we're
will.
doing pipes, I have
Yeah,
none of my accessories there.
but
So
guys, honestly, support Valor Cigar Accessories. They make a V cutter, they make a straight cutter. It's all made in the United States. It's 10% of their profits get donated to first responder and military um, charities. So support the guys. They're out of Texas.
yes.
The link to their Etsy page to buy their stuff is on our link tree. So go to our link tree for our Instagram page for Lounge Life Podcast, and you can find the link there. So go support them.
Yes, and you can find different designs, and now they actually offer customized etching on the blades of your cutter.
The flat one.
Um,
Yeah.
yes, the flat one. They did, and one of their things that they're doing this month is they are supporting Dogs Inc., which is a wonderful charity. Rob's very familiar with them. Um, they they help people get service dogs.
Yeah. The gentleman from
And
Dogs Inc. is out of Jersey. So,
yes, and the one they did for them had the Dogs Inc. logo across the entire face of both of the blades. Just top notch, first rate quality. So thank you,
yeah.
Valor Cigars, and thank you for what you do to support the military and first responder community.
And thanks for supporting Lounge Life and believing in us.
Most definitely. They've been so very good to us. So that brings us to what's in the ashtray. So Rob, what stood out to you?
The other day I smoked it was my morning cigar. I'll have when I have my day off, I will um smoke a lighter cigar. So I ended up reaching for a Dunbarton Sober Mesa, the Brule
Hmm.
Wagashi. Um so he has a so Steve Saka has a line called the Sober Mesa, and they have like a regular Sober Mesa. Then they have the Brulee Blue, and they have a Brulee Wagashi. The Brulee Blue has a sweet tip, kind of like a Lancero size, um, and it is a really good. It's a really nice, not super spicy, but it's a nice spicy morning cigar. Connecticut shade. Um, the Wagashi is a little different. It's in the same vein as the Brulee Blue. Instead of the baby blue footband and the baby blue accents, it's got a like a lime green band, and
Okay.
it is made in conjunction with Cigar Dojo. And if anybody doesn't know what Cigar Dojo is, Cigar Dojo is actually a pretty awesome online cigar community. They are an
Hmm.
online blog and cigar community. So you share what you smoke, and you connect with other cigar lovers around the world. So Cigar Dojo and Dunbarton have come up with this Brule Wagashi. It's a 6x50 Toro. It's made at the Hoya de Nicaragua factory. which is fantastic. They make some amazing cigars. It is an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper with a San Andreas Negro binder, which is like a darker priming of San Andreas wrapper, or I should say San Andreas leaf, and then just Nicaraguan fillers. It's definitely a hot medium, so it's a real solid medium, and I get a lot of notes of like wood, cream, graham cracker, baking spices. It's a little bit spicy, a lot of white pepper. It's very creamy. Um, Black pepper on the retrohale. Um, and then towards the end of the stick is actually really pretty interesting. You get a lot of sweetness. You get some coffee, some cinnamon, um, some breadiness. It really is a really nice cigar, but it doesn't have the sweet tip like the Brule Blue has. Um, they come in boxes of 13, which is, odd because it's just a weird number. And
Right.
um, the MSRP is, I mean, it's a, I don't want to say it's lining up with the rest of Dunbarton because Dunbarton brings out some, really nice. I'm not gonna say low end. So they bring out some really nice low price point cigars, but they also have a higher end price point cigars as well. So this is going to land a little bit on the higher end of the price point, and the MSRP of these cigars are $18. So if you like a Connecticut in the morning with your coffee, I highly suggest you try to find this Wagashi. Fantastic cigar.
Awesome.
What
Yeah.
about you? What anything stuck out to you like positive, negative? What have you smoked lately?
Well, just got back from vacation trip to the beach. The cigar I actually smoked on Father's Day was another Haze Gray cigar. It was the Haze Gray, which is an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper around Dominican binders and fillers. And it is a sweet tipped cigar. And it was a Lancero Vitola. So very, very, I mean, right down the middle, medium cigar.
Yeah.
Uh, but but the sweet tip just added. It wasn't overly sweet because sometimes you get some that are really candy sweet on the front and just kind of make your teeth hurt and almost kind of ruin the cigar. And then it doesn't even out until halfway through after the sweetness is kind of worn down. But this was just sweet enough, very smooth, still
Yeah.
very flavorful, um, and just a really nice smoke. It is also offered in, uh, let's see, um, I think it's also offered in a Toro. Um,
Okay. Now is this like to is this like a Deadwood style? So is it like a sweet tip with regular tobacco in the middle, or is this like
yes,
or is
yes,
this
it
gonna be
is.
like a sweetened is this gonna be like a sweetened pipe tobacco like the Stillwell Stars?
No, I would equate it to more of the Dominicana.
Okay.
It's not a very infused or you know aromatic pipe tobacco feel. Um,
Mm,
it just has the sweetened tip.
yeah.
So, and again, like I've had some of the Deadwood that right there on the front. It's super sweet, almost too sweet. Um, you almost want to kind of wipe it off a little bit, but
Mm,
it's just sweet enough. Just accents the natural taste of the tobacco. Just all flows
yeah.
really well together. We've had those guys on with us, and they're also a veteran-owned company um, out of Pensacola. So love to support them anytime we can. And of
Oh, so
course, what?
let us
Go ahead.
apologize right now just for, for those watching. It is hot. Um,
Yes.
it is 80 degrees right now. It is 10 o'clock at night in Jersey, and it is 80 degrees with like 80% humidity. So if you see me wiping my face off, it's because I'm sweating like a stuck pig, honestly. So
Well,
just please bear with us.
thank you for that because I've had to take my glasses off several times because they keep fogging up on me.
Yeah.
Um, and just but I can't read anything without them. So, but yeah, it's 86 here. Um, and I would think it would be 100% humidity. I mean, you can literally cut it with a knife. So,
Yeah. Well, it's
but
going to
yeah,
be over the next couple days. It's going to be, Monday,
yes,
Tuesday. They're saying 100-degree plus in New Jersey for the heat index. So we're in
yeah.
for it.
Well, and it's going to be in the 90s. But this morning at about 10 o'clock, I came out, started working on the pool, things like that, doing some catch up from being off and or being away, and the heat index was 103.
Yeah,
So,
that's crazy.
and stay hydrated, whether you're smoking or not, stay
Hmm.
hydrated. Uh, that's super important. So, and as always, what's in the ashtray is brought to you by Bullets and Brave. Bullets and Brave is another American company that's been very good to us. They're a maker of these really sturdy metal cigar stands that can be
Custom made.
customized. Yes, they can be customized with different stamps within the metal. They're um the Bullets and Brave stand has brass knucks and then has uh, bullets stamped into the stand, and he can customize with your logo. Um, your imagination is the only limit. So uh, Nick is a great guy, easy to work with. He has awesome hats, cups. I think he's doing some ashtrays now. I've seen him do
Mm,
some front pocket ridge style wallets. Uh, I've been using one of those type wallets for 2 years, so it's getting to about time to have another one. So I'd love to update it with a Bullets and Brave. So, and again, you can find the link to his Etsy store on our link tree. Um, and we are again very grateful that they chose to let us help uh, rep their product.
hmm.
So, so now let's get into the meat of it. So I had to do some research because when my father was alive, I
Hmm.
wasn't into pipe smoking, so didn't really uh, get to share that time with him or learn um, how to or the things that he enjoyed about it. But
Yeah.
again, with guys over with Justin, who over at Smoking Sounds, who's primarily a pipe smoker. Have learned a few things from him, and then also I have to send a shout out to Jay Furman at Pipe and Tamper podcast, who's we've had some great conversations. He's shared our stuff and really been good about shouting us out
Hmm.
on their latest episode. He shouted us out for our coverage on Men's Mental Health Month. So we really appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate
So
everybody. It's such a great community that I love the fact that we have buddies in the industry who have their own podcasts that don't need to shout, that don't need to bring awareness to our podcast. But listen, we're all here for the love of the same thing. So, the bigger the community, the better it is for all of us. So why not? Smoking Sounds Pod. Um, who else? I just started talking back and forth with the guys over at Mick and Charles over
Real smoke.
at Real Smoke Podcast. So, guys from Real
Yeah.
Smoke, thank you so much. We'd love to connect with you guys to do something. The Leaf Cutters,
Oh,
a
most
great group of
definitely.
guys. Just, I mean, these guys are fantastic. Like I said, this is just a cool fucking community that I love being a part of. And
Well,
but yeah,
and
so what's up?
it's always great because we're always helping each other out.
Yeah.
You've said it. It's a community, not a competition.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all have different palettes and different views, and even kind of the ritualistic of how we go about everything could be a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the beautiful thing about it is we all do what we enjoy,
Yeah.
and anybody who's um, worth their opinion, in my opinion, is may offer you some suggestions, but they're not going to tell you how you should be doing something.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, so I love the fact that we're doing this Father's Day episodes. We're gonna talk about our dad. Um, we're gonna talk about why we're doing this. Um, you know, every man should have a father in his life, and it's unfortunate for those that don't. Um, so fathers are the cornerstones of the family. We believe that um, wholeheartedly. I mean, I think I'm on the same wave. I hope I am on the same wavelength as Al over here. But I have some I hold some very conservative values, and first and foremost, before we get into everything, I just want to give prayers out to our military who we all heard about what's going on now over in over with our soldiers and our military with Iran and everything and Israel. And so I just want to say, just I hope our boys come home safe. I hope our military stays safe. Um, you know, just prayers to our government to make the right decision for what we need to do. So, um, you know, it's it's gonna be a little touch and go over the
mhm,
next couple weeks to see what happens. But yeah, so I just want to kind of throw that out there. And but like I said, we're here to talk about our dads, and our dads are the cornerstones of who we are. We are who we are today because of our fathers. Um,
yes,
I unfortunately, so I have some pictures. So I have two fathers. So um, my dad married, divorced, and got remarried. So I have my mom and my stepfather live together, and my stepmother and my father live together. Um, And so this is my dad. So this is a picture of me and my dad when I was a kid. He's not the one that smoked cigars or pipes, but that's my father Robert, same name as me. Um, and he lives in Pennsylvania, and they lived in Jersey for a long time, and they moved out to Pennsylvania. I think they're actually thinking about moving back, which after 17 years, it took them long enough. And this is my stepfather. That's my stepfather John. He's my dad too. Um I do not refer to him as a stepfather. He's my dad. I spent every day with him. I lived with him and my mom, and he is the one. Actually, if you see, he's actually smoking a cigar in this picture right here. This is on our
nice.
cruise, the cruise we went on when I was a sophomore in high school for my grandparents' 50th anniversary. But he's the one that smokes cigars. He loves cigars. He loved pipes. Um, and he had 3 or 4 heart attacks, and ended up having to stop smoking altogether, unfortunately. But he uh, he passed away the year before COVID, and unfortunately, um, I did not develop my taste for cigars or pipes until until he had passed. Um, so it was unfortunate. I still to this day, I have his cigars that I light up all the time. If I get, you know, that kind of just like down and out feeling, um, I'll go sit by his grave site and smoke a cigar or light up a pipe and just think and talk and actually it's funny tonight in honor of my dad. I'll be smoking his tobacco, the brand of tobacco that he smoked all the time. So we'll get into that as well as I after he passed away, my mother gave me his pipe collection that he had that he used to smoke. So I have his pipe that I'll be smoking tonight, and it's a pipe that he bought back in the '90s. Um, get it out for you. I'll show you. So this right here is my dad's pipe, um, and you can see it is a where is it? Can you see right there? There you go. It's LJ Peretti out of
Yep.
Boston. They've been there for over 100 years, right in town square. Um, they've been there forever, and so you know, I he smoked that pipe, and like I said, his brand was LJ Peretti. So this is his favorite, the LJ Peretti Black Virginia Cavendish. So it's a fire cured Virginia tobacco that is sweetened with so it's got like that a little bit of a smoky flavor and vanilla. So I mean, this stuff is absolutely fantastic. One of the best, some of the best room notes, mild to medium, and one of the best room notes I've ever smelled of tobacco of pipe tobacco.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I lost my father at back in 2000. I was 22 years old at the time. Hadn't developed a taste for tobacco yet. Um, I do regret not holding on to his pipe collection, if only for nostalgia's sake. But you know, at 22 years old, you're not thinking about long-term stuff. You're thinking about the here and now and
Yeah,
trying to figure out how to move on and live life. And
yeah.
you know, um, so I'm gonna be smoking a Missouri Meerschaum briar pipe. Um,
Mm,
just very simple. Um, but hopefully one day my son will look uh, at this little pipe as one of the cornerstones of his collection.
yeah.
And I'm gonna be smoking uh, Sutliff's. They have an apple flavored tobacco.
Mm,
Although Sutliff is, uh, you know, has been shut down uh, after being bought out. Um, you know, and most of their stuff is discontinued. I was able to track down uh, about half a pound, so I should have enough to last me for at least a little while.
mm,
Um, but I always remembered, I don't remember the manufacturer. Again, Justin has shared that with me because he's a seasoned uh, piper. But it had an apple on the outside of the envelope, and just you know, and you and I have talked about how um, aromas kind
mm,
of bring back memories and bring in that nostalgia and can almost take you back uh, to a simpler time, you know, and
mhm.
perpetuate those memories. So,
Yeah. So
um,
let's go over real fast what you need to smoke a pipe. So for anybody, you know, we're gonna kind of give you the 1,000 foot crash course on what you need. So obviously you're gonna need a pipe, right? You need tobacco. Your tobacco is already cut, and tobacco comes in different types. It'll be, you know, it'll be ribbon, it could be already chopped. It could be flake.
Like,
It could be coins
yeah,
that you have to
discs.
crumble. It could be packed in a cube where you have to slice. It could be slices. It's all kinds of different things. So mine is already chopped.
Yes,
You know,
as is mine.
usually you have a kind of a tray to keep your tobacco on. Um,
Hmm.
you also need your tool, your pipe tool. So, you know, it's your pipe tool. It's going to be
I
like a
gotcha.
scooper. It's going to be a
Yep.
scooper to clean out your bowl, your tamper,
Yep.
that's going to tamp your tobacco down, your ash down, and
Hmm.
also a poker to kind of mix up your ash and clean it out. Also, you need a soft flame lighter. You don't want a torch
No.
when lighting a pipe because you will char your briar. Um, and once you burn through that briar, you cannot fix it.
Right.
So they have all these on the market. This is actually from a company called Fankai sent this to me, and it's got a soft flame lighter on it. It's got it's like a multi-tool. It's got all the tools in it, and
Hmm.
then it also has a stand with it as well.
Nice.
So it's pretty neat. Um, it's real heavy. It's nice, but that's what you need. So
Hmm.
let's talk about how to pack a pipe. So the easiest way to um, explain, I guess, packing a pipe is the three-stage method. So what you do is there's a little rule of thumb. It's called hands of a baby, hands of a lady, hands of a man. Now
Yep.
you're like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Fucking hands and ladies and babies and shit. So what you do is you're gonna take your pipe, right? And you're gonna
Hmm.
take your tobacco, right? And you kind of just you fill up your bowl, right, to the top. And then what you want to do is you want to lightly press it down. So hands of a baby. So
Right.
you just kind of want to lightly press it down, right? With the strength of a baby, right? So then
Yep.
once you get your first fill done, right? You want to come in again. If you look, it's not going to be all the way up at the top.
No.
So here's where the hands of a lady comes in. So you fill it up again with your tobacco, and then hands of a lady. So you want to press it down a little harder, right? So you fill it up to the top, and then you press it down a little more compact, right? And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get a sturdy base
Right.
to light, right? And then you go for the third and final fill, right? You sprinkle it on top, right?
And you give
Sprinkle
it
it
a
on top,
good.
and then you give it a good press down. Not too hard, like you don't want to jam it in there so you have no
Right.
airflow. Because what you're looking for is a good, almost like a cigar type draw, where there's a little bit of resistance, but not where it's plugged. You're not going to get any draw through the pipe. So once
Right.
you're done, right, check your draw. Still got a really nice draw on it, right? And
Yeah.
it's weird because pipes are not going to be like cigars. So you're not going to be sucking on these things like you're, you know,
Right.
sucking a golf ball through a garden hose here. You know, the pipes require, you know, you tend your pipe. It's a gentlemanly act. And you know, you sip it like a drink. So you kind of like lightly puff on your
Your pipe.
on your pipe. There you go. Thank you. You
Yes.
lightly puff on your pipe just to keep it lit. And the pipe will tell you if you're drawing too hard, if you're drawing too often, you'll get like a
Yeah.
gurgling sound. That means you're
Yes.
developing steam and moisture in the stem. You don't want that. That means it's too hot, you're drawing too often, and you're puffing away like a wild man. Quit it. Don't fucking do that.
Right. Well,
So,
and something
no, go
I've
ahead.
learned is you kind of want it 2/3 full or a little
Mm,
over 2/3 full. You don't want tobacco to the very top of your bowl because once you light it, the tobacco will kind of rise up.
it'll
You kind
expand.
of,
Yep.
yep. So you don't want it jumping out in your lap.
Yeah. So you use your tamper. You're gonna use your tamper to kind of get a nice flat base on it, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you're gonna use your tamper for. Also, as it expands, you're gonna use your tamper to kind of tap it back down.
Yes.
So
And and two, I am using a Zippo lighter, much to the dismay of Jay Furman, but this particular Zippo was my father's. It has his initials on it. So I always do my at least initial light with this lighter just as a in honor of him.
so once you have it lit, you're gonna want to kind of baby it a little bit. So you're not looking to draw excess through like you're smoking a cigar. You're not looking to make big huge pulls. And don't
And
worry if you don't keep it lit, it's all right. Plenty of people it is an art form to try to keep these things lit.
yeah, and two, you end up developing a cadence that works for you.
Mhm.
And you know, um so just don't get discouraged if it doesn't work out the first couple of times.
So now we're gonna sit and chat. So anything you want to talk about?
Um, well, I would be remiss if I didn't thank my family for making my Father's Day and Father's Day week um wonderful. Of course it did happen. We did go spend a week uh at the beach in Dolphin Island, Alabama. Uh Before we left, we went to my wife and I and my son and his girlfriend went to see Charles Wesley Godwin, who's an artist that has worked with Zach Bryan and some other things. Happens to be one of my son and I's, you know, one of our favorite artists. And it
Hmm.
was at a very small venue here in Memphis. Um, and then also to my shirt here, Third Eye Blind. We rushed home yesterday to just in time to go see them last night at an outdoor venue, also in Memphis. So, um, along with this, like I said, this awesome hat, they made my week very special. And you know, um, my Father's days are pretty bittersweet, um, because of course the bitter part is of course missing my father and
Hmm.
not getting to spend the time with him because now I'm at a point in my life where I've lived longer without him than I did with
Yeah.
him. Uh, so, but I still talk to him. I'm sure you do too.
Oh, of
Uh,
course, all the time.
you
I'll have a
know,
bad day, you know, I'll have a bad day. I'll kind of just look up and just chat. And, if I'm having a really bad day, I'll go to the graveyard and just kind of sit in front of them and just kind of like just chat, man. You don't have to, you're not crazy. Plenty of people do it. Um, you know,
well, and then you can, I hope there's never a day that I don't actually hear his voice. You know what I mean?
hmm
You can almost um, hear how he would respond, or how we hope they would respond.
yeah. Yeah, it's amazing, it's one of the, like I can already like the tobacco just brings back the memories. You know what I mean? I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know if you have the tobacco that your dad smoked.
it's probably the closest I'll ever get.
Yeah, but it's it's interesting. We connect our olfactory senses to our memories, whether it's food or whether it's tobacco or your mom and and even like a lot of people will connect their mothers with a certain type of perfume that they wore, you
Oh
know?
yeah, for sure. Just my wife's grandmother. We lost her a few years ago, and she always wore the same perfume, and it was unmistakable.
Yeah.
But smelling this reminds me of being, I don't know, 7, 8 years old. My dad
Mhm.
kicked back in his recliner, Hill Street Blues on the television. I'm laying in the floor, you know, the way we always did as kids, and just didn't have to have much conversation.
Yeah. No, it's funny. Did your dad smoke inside, you said?
Oh yes, yes, he was a cigarette smoker, so I can remember the ceilings of the house being yellowy brown. And then when he tried to stop smoking cigarettes, he started smoking pipes. So, and I have to admit, it was a much better aromatic sensation than the cigarettes.
Yeah. No, I get it. So my mom hated the smell of the cigars. My dad always smoked the cigars out on the front porch. And this is John we're talking about here. So
Yeah,
he always used to smoke his cigars on the porch because mom hated it. But the pipe tobacco she always loved, and it's funny, I'll tell you a little story about that. So my dad always used this. This is the only pipe tobacco he ever smoked. He never tried anything else. LJ Peretti's Virginia Black Virginia, and it has just like this nice vanilla um smokiness to it. And and my mom loved the smell so much. It had like a little bit of a cherry undercurrent to it. So you have like a cherry vanilla room note. And it's funny. My mom now, I was at her house a couple of weeks ago, and she found those meltables. You know how they have like the candles
yeah,
that have like that melting wax that gives
yeah.
off like a potpourri smell. So um she found some company, I think it was Amazon. I don't know what company it was, but she found a company that made these wax meltables for candles, and one of them smells like cherry vanilla tobacco. And
Wow.
I was there a couple weeks ago, and I walked in the house. I was like, are you smoking dad's
Smoking pot.
pipes?" I was like, "Are you smoking dad's pipes?" And she's like, "No." She's like, "I found this company that sells these wax melts that smell like cherry vanilla tobacco." I was like, "That's fucking crazy because it smells just like dad's tobacco." And it was, and she's like, "I know." She's like, "It was sad and happy all at the same time because they were together for 29 years. They didn't make it for 30. Um, Dad passed away of I should say John passed away, but he's my dad. He
Yeah.
passed away of congestive heart failure when he was 70. Um, 3 months shy of their 30th anniversary. And yeah, see, I'm out again. I gotta learn.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be that guy that's gonna have to relight.
Well, when
Um,
you're, when you're talking storytelling, that's very
and
common.
it's crazy because she said it was sad and happy all at the same time because she thinks back and she remembers the times with her and him and sitting in front of the fireplace in the house and during during the holidays, and he would smoke the pipe and she loved the smell of this tobacco.
Oh, for sure. And I do remember, going to the tobacco shop and
Yeah,
just the smell of the tobacco shop with all of the different tobaccos kind of intermingling, the
yeah,
large Native American cutout or carving as you walk in, just
yeah,
it's amazing how, like you said, those olfactory senses just bring back memories and, just being in awe of everything in there because it was all beautiful wood and, you know, just
yeah.
very classic.
It's funny because you know you learn as a pipe smoker. I'm a pretty new pipe smoker, so I have a bunch of different stuff to try. Stuff that like new pipe smokers would try. Like there's this one tobacco that everybody's like, if you're new, like you automatically have to try something called Lane 1Q. And
Right.
that's like the base of a lot of lighter tobaccos. But I have something called Moon Trance, which apparently is pretty popular from CAO. Um, I think I have a Peterson, which is another big brand. Peterson pipes, Peterson tobacco, the early early morning early morning pipe, I think it's called. And then I think I have one called another popular one called Blood Moon Cult, which is like a cherry flavored.
Okay. I'm gonna. I've got one that was the first one I purchased. It's a Cornell and Deal Autumn Evening.
Okay,
So
that was one of the ones I looked at. That
so
definitely was one of the ones that I was looking at to get.
so I'll send you a little sample
All right.
with the next box so you can give it a try. And again, Jay Furman and I were talking, and he recommended the Skywalker by Warped. Um,
Okay.
so we talked about what cigars um, uh, I tend to be, I'm drawn to, and so then he kind of made some recommendations uh, from that also.
Yeah.
But I noticed on our friends over at the Leaf Cutters, they they do a Find Out Friday on Facebook. So they post a question, and one of those was, where do you get your information from? Do you go, magazines, uh, vlogs, podcasts, friends,
Hmm.
um, so or reviews. And honestly, of course, I responded with, I usually tune into to somebody's podcast to rely on friends, which are basically happens to be the podcast community.
Yeah.
Um, but I think the majority of people look at reviews and then go try it for themselves. They don't just strictly go, well, the reviews weren't that great on that. I don't think I'm going to even try it. And
Hmm.
that's the thing. We've talked
Well,
about so many times.
it's palettes, and everybody's palate's different. And like I said, I will die on the hill of my number one favorite cigar for 2024, and I can name I can fill up one hand the number of other streamers in this community that did not like it. So, it is what it is.
Well, and I mean, just in uh, that same category, the my father, the judge. Um,
Yeah.
I've heard people
Number one
thrash it.
cigar for what? MF the Judge, the Grand Robusto. Number one
Yeah,
cigar for CI. Was it not CI for Cigar Aficionado? 2024.
right. And another guy that I watch, um, he like he trashed it. He's like,
Yeah.
you know, he said, but I'll give it another shot. But he kind of went into, he bought it straight out of the humidor. It had a little spot on it that he didn't notice till after he paid for it. The tobacconist wouldn't let him change it out. So, y-
See, to me, that's not right. If
yeah,
you're a good tobacconist worth your salt, you know, being a tobacconist is all, and owning a shop is all about customer service. If you don't have a customer service bone in your body, please take it from me. Do not own a fucking cigar shop if you do not have customer service.
you're right. I mean,
Do not get into cigars because all you fucking do is talk to people all day. And if you're not willing to stand behind your product and be like, hey, dude, my bad, take another one, please find another fucking business.
yeah. And he also said it was spongy and probably over humidified. But he
And you know
said,
what? I will tell you one thing that I notice when you go to a cigar shop, a lot of the times they will keep their sticks a little on the more humid side
mm-hmm,
just to carry just to carry them over,
right,
just to carry them over to getting home or shipping or whatever.
right. Well, and again, as we covered in our etiquette, our lounge etiquette episode, you know, that's why a lot of people like to take them home and let them rest. You know, but
I will
just
always,
just
I always,
always,
especially always after shipping. Um, Listen, I will smoke one or two from a humidor of a shop. But when I buy the bulk of my cigars, especially after getting shipped from an online retailer, I will always let
hmm,
them sit at least 2 weeks. Like when I came home from PCA, I let them sit at least. I don't know how they kept their cigars. Listen, they're not always kept in the best. They're kept in totes and whatever. They're not
right,
always airtight or whatever. So I let my PCA stick sit at least 30 days before I even tried the first one. So, I let them sit in a humidified airtight container for at least a month.
yeah, and since we're talking about crown heads, I'm actually using my soft flame Crown Heads Bic.
Oh yeah.
So John's never too far away from us.
Nope. Well, the funny thing is, you know, since we're just sitting here bullshitting, uh, we will let you guys in. If you're watching this episode, we can tell you, um, what you know what? Fuck it. Let's go over. We don't want to give away everything we're doing this year, but you know, I let's just quickly. I can quickly go over, some things we're doing for the rest of the year, um, on our podcast, since this is just like a bullshit. This is like a bullshit time. So, we've, me and Al, we sit down, we plan out for 3, 4 months in advance, like what we're going to be doing. Um, July, we're going to be dropping La Vega. We interviewed La Vega Cigars, and we're going to be dropping an episode in July with La Vega. Um, we're also dropping a special PCA episode where I'm going to talk about some of the cigars that I like, didn't like from PCA. And we are in talks right now with John Huber to have John come on and talk about the rest of his year for July. Um, we're gonna have something cool coming up in August. Um, we're gonna have some special guests. We're gonna have some people join us for the podcast.
And I think we have something really cool coming in October.
Um, September, we're trying to get. We're gonna try to do a pairing episode. So your cigars and your drinks.
Mhm.
October, we're doing, which is really cool. We're going to be doing an episode called Sticks and Flicks. So we're going to be smoking our favorite Halloween sticks, and we're going to be talking about our favorite horror movies. Um, we are going to be November. We're going to be doing a thankful episode. We're going to be talking to also Sebastian from Cavaliers going to be on.
Mhm.
Um, And then we're going to be in December, and we're going to be talking about our favorite sticks of the year, and what's going to make our top 10. And then either at the end of December or beginning of January of 2026, we'll be putting out you know our individual plus our combined top 10 episode. So it looks like to be, and plus, you know what, like I said, the schedule is due to change. So you know it is not going to be hard and fast.
No.
Um, we're gonna have a ton of people. We're gonna have a ton of cool episodes for the rest of 2025. We have a lot of people available to us. Um, a couple names we have available: Giselle Herrera, who is from El Titan de Bronze, Willie Herrera's wife, from Drew Estate, Enrique Cejas. We're looking at talking to. Um, Brian Desson from Pravada Cigar Club. Plus we have a lot of backups. So um,
Well, and our
it's going to
good
be a
buddy
busy rest of
DJ,
the year. What's that?
our good buddy DJ.
Yeah, we're going to have DJ on to, you know, we don't want to give everything away, but we will have DJ on, our buddy DJ from Area de Fumar. He is going to be on with us for a couple of episodes, um, talking about a couple of things. So I don't want to give those episodes
Just a
away because I
couple of
really
different
think,
things. Yeah.
well, a couple of
Well,
different things with DJ.
and let's don't forget that we still have 2 episodes left this month. One of which is we'll be recording very soon with Bryce from Silent Hero Cigars, and we get to do that live reaction to the Thousand Yard
Yeah,
Stare.
we are going to be the first podcast on the internet to give a reaction live. Well, recorded, but we're going to be the
Right.
first podcast to be able to sit and actually smoke and talk to Bryce while smoking the 1,000 yard stare. So we feel honored to bring Bryce on, and then um, to finish up our Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. The last day of the month, which I believe is a Monday, June 30th, we are going to have um, a fantastic gentleman out of Australia, Adam Levine from League of Fat Bastards Cigars. He is going to be joining us, talking to us about his struggles, why he got started from what he did, and we're going to be talking about everything that he's done to help the men's mental health uh, community um, with him. So, um, guys, honestly, um, stick the fuck around because it's going to be a really exciting end of the year. Um, it really is. It really is. So that's
And
kind of like what we have planned for the rest of the year. I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to give away all of our episodes.
well,
Um,
that's some nice little teasers, some nice little nuggets, something to look forward to.
yeah, and like I said, guys, we love big brands, we love small brands. Next year we have our eyes set a little higher. We're going to go after some big guys. I'm in talks with a number of different owners to come on and interview with us. Big brands that I'm sure every cigar smoker has heard of. So um, mainly people from West Tampa and also EPC for Casa Carrillo. So we have some really big names hopefully coming up. So um, we hope you guys stick around. We hope you guys love what we do. Because like I said, me and Al, we don't get paid for this. Um, it
No,
is it is a
but you
labor
know
it is
what?
a labor of love. We take time out of to cut together footage, to plan episodes, to shift around times with our wives and our families to bring you guys content. Um, and we try the best we can. Um, Al works tirelessly on getting out our posts for social media. So, a big thank you to Al for the time that he invests in um, putting together the posts for our YouTube podcast on Instagram. So,
Well, and
it's honestly, it really is. Like I said, guys, this is honestly a labor of love for us because we just love to talk about it, and we love the community, and we just want to give back and show the love that the community has shown to us.
well, and I appreciate you because you do all the editing, the video distribution. You know, I, I
Yeah,
think of that as the hard stuff. I consider what I do the easy stuff. So
yeah,
and of course we both just love talking to people, whether they're shop owners or uh, you know makers or accessory brands, and just people that smoke. Um, some guys that have really, Jeff at Death Western Woods. He
mm,
pubs us all the time, and he and I
we
talk
haven't
quite
worked
a
with him
good.
yet, so
Yeah, we're still working on a little something there, and uh, Cigars with Angel. He is a big part of this community. He's made some really heartfelt posts, especially for um, Silent Hero. Shares everything we put out. Um, Raul, man, our guy out in Texas, he's another big supporter of us and shares our stuff and
yeah.
um, and of course Mason Good Smokes. He reposts our stuff and includes us in stuff that he's put out for this month. So we're just really grateful to the community for the support.
Yeah. But with that being said, um, guys, it's been such a great Father's Day episode. We want to thank you for tuning in. Please stay tuned for the rest of the month. Um, we have two more big episodes coming up. One's going to be released on Friday. Another one's going to be released that following Monday. So we're going to have a big weekend coming up next weekend. Um, we're going to have Bryce from Silent Hero, and we're going to have um, Adam from League of Fat Bastards, all in the span of 4 days. This is going to be released Monday. Um, what is it going to be? Monday, the 23rd, is going to
Yeah.
be the release day. Um, so in the span of like what, a week, we're releasing 3 episodes
Seven
for to
days.
f- to finish up. Yeah, to finish up, Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, into the slog of summer, and it's it's been an amazing year so far. Al and I, like I said, have been working tirelessly to pull this all together to make sure you get the best content we can give you guys. And
Yes.
honestly, if you want to see some other stuff, please let us know. Um, we don't bite hard. We may bite a little bit, but we want you guys to love this podcast, and we want to grow this podcast. So if you have anything you want to see, if you have ideas for episodes you'd love to see, or you have a topic you'd love to see us talk about, please feel free. Reach out to me on Instagram, at Sticks at the Shore. Reach out to Al on Instagram, Howlin' with Big Al. Reach out to the
Or
Lounge Life podcast
Lounge
at
Life
Lounge Life
podcast. Yeah.
Podcast, and just drop us DMs, and we will do our best to work suggestions into our regularly scheduled programming. We are not against putting out extra episodes.
No.
After our first year, um, come January, we were actually talking about maybe stepping up our release schedule instead of doing, you know, a release every other week. Maybe doing 3 releases a month. So we're you know we're doing this on our dimes. So we try to do the best we can with what we have. Um, So, guys, honestly, we appreciate all the support you already given us. So, please continue to support us. If you haven't subscribed to our page, subscribe to our page. Subscribe to Al's Instagram page. Subscribe to the Lounge Life podcast. Subscribe to my page, Sticks at the Shore. Um, you know, I put out stuff on my individual page, and I know Al puts out stuff on his individual page, and we also post stuff together on our page. So I'm not in competition with Al. It's
No.
I have a little bit of a different way of doing things,
Mhm.
and I like the way I do things individually, and I love the way we do things together. So
Most definitely.
I will never be in competition with Al. We love doing it. We love teaming up with everybody else. Um, we're in talks with other podcasts to kind of just do collabs. So uh,
Hmm.
it's it's a great community, and we just ask that you show us the love. Um, subscribe, repost, tell your friends about it, tell your neighbors about it. Um, and who knows? We may do some giveaways. Um, we're trying to think of things. So, if you have
Yeah.
ideas, let us know. Um,
Well, and
but
just
yeah.
interact with us. We love
Yeah.
interacting with the people either through comments on the YouTube page or like you said through the DMs or even through the posts. I love chopping it up and having a conversation with everybody. And we check our stuff several times a day,
Oh, I'm
so
on Instagram all day long. So, you know, multiple times all day, I'm on there. So if you want to get a hold of us, one of us is always on there.
for sure. And it we will respond probably within hours rather than
I don't know
days.
about you, slacker, but I'm usually minutes. So,
Yeah,
if I'm not busy
I
at
will
work,
admit that.
it's usually minutes. Um, so I am easy to get a hold of. Um, so so right now I'm getting down to the end of my bowl. I'm just kind of scraping mine out right now.
Yeah.
Um, we're gonna wrap it up. It is getting to almost an hour and a half on this episode. We didn't want to do that. We thought this was gonna be a
Wow.
shorter episode.
Yeah, we figured
So
about
so
45 minutes we'd be in and
it's
out,
getting
but
late, and
so
it's almost 11 o'clock here on the East Coast. And you know, I had a really bad last couple days. I worked both my jobs. I worked at the lounge until 11 o'clock. I don't get home and in shower and bed until almost midnight, and I gotta wake up at 4:30 for work the next day. So I'm fucking tired. Um, so uh at this point, I think what we're gonna do is wrap up our Father's Day episode. So guys, if you still have your fathers, go home, give them a hug, and tell them you love them. Tell them you're thankful for them, and learn everything you can about them. Learn about their life beforehand,
most
because you never know
definitely.
when you never know when you might not be able to. So uh, again, all we ask is that you follow us, subscribe to us, um, and Al, you have anything to close with?
Um, just again, thanks for all the support. Um, this has been a great month. I hope we're getting through to some people, and maybe opening their minds to uh, talking, speaking, talking with somebody when you're not feeling so great. And
It's
I
okay to
hope
talk, guys.
it's definitely it's not man up, it's speak up. And as always, I hope you win the battles that you tell nobody about.
So this is Rob, and it's Al for the Lounge Life Podcast. We'll see you guys next time. We'll be on with Bryce, Silent Hero. Be on the lookout for that. Talk to you guys later. Peace.